With the IMSA Sports Car Championship awarding over 300 points for qualifying alone, one lap pace matters more than ever in endurance racing. But who were the best qualifiers in GTP? Let's take a look. There are several different ways to rank drivers in qualifying. You could look at average qualifying position or their average gap to pole. And an added challenge of IMSA is that not everyone does every session. In fact, only Sebastian Bourdais qualified all 8 times this year, and this all means no ranking is a true reflection of ability. Like all stats in motorsport, no one in the world has the full context to extract ability from them, so don't deep it, this is all just for fun. In total, 21 drivers did at least one qualifying session this season, and if you look at both mean qualifying position and mean percentage gap to pole, which I'm calling super time from here on as that's way too much of a mouthful, the same drivers are in the top 10 on both lists. Surprisingly, not a single BMW driver is in the top 10. Philipp Eng was 11th on average pace, and Augusto Farfus 11th on average position. The customer Porsche teams also fared much worse in qualifying than in the races, with Mike Rockenfeller at Motorsport the only time either of them beat any of the factory cars. So let's go through the top 10, ordered by the average rank across both position and super time rankings. And before I begin our countdown, I have one request. This is a niche video topic, so if you enjoy it and want to see similar depth in the future, please let me know in the comments and give it some love. Number 10. Mathieu Yamane. Yamane qualified 4 times this year, putting his Porsche on the front row at both Laguna Seca and Indianapolis to end the year 7th on average position and 10th on super time. His super time is badly let down by Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, where he qualified last over 2.5% off pole. Remove this lap and he vaults into the top 5. Number 9. Pipo Derani. Pipo qualified 7 times this year, with Long Beach the only 100-minute race, the only time Alexander Sims was allowed to for the 31 crew. Pipo took 2 poles this year, Sebring and Road America, and like Yamane's let down by one poor performance, when he was almost 3% off the pace in the wet conditions at Road Atlanta. Number 8. Alex Lynn. Lynn is the first of 2 drivers on this list only to qualify once all year, which makes him a bit of an outlier. His 5th place at Daytona, the closest qualifying of the season, put him 6th on super time and 10th on average position aboard the O2 Cadillac. Number 7. Colin Brown. Tom Blomqvist may be the star aboard the 60, but Brown is no slouch either. He qualified just twice this year, Laguna Seca and Road America, but was within 0.5% of pole each time to end up 5th on super time, despite never qualifying on the front row. Number 6. Sebastian Bourdais. As already mentioned, Bourdais was the only driver to do all 8 qualifying sessions this year. GTP qualifying was rained off at Watkins Glen, hence 1 race is missing. Seabass never took a pole position, but was on the front row at both Sebring and Road Atlanta, and outside the front 2 rows only once. His incredible consistency makes him a great benchmark to look at which tracks saw bigger differences than others, which this year were Long Beach, Motorsport and Road Atlanta, unsurprisingly the shortest ones. Number 5. Tom Blomqvist. Blomqvist took 2 poles this year across his 6 qualifying sessions, and has the 3rd highest average qualifying position, the best of anyone who did qualifying 3 or more times. If this was a list just on pure pace alone, Tom Blom would have an argument to be right at the top, but the stats, at least the ones I used, didn't fall that way for him this year. In fact, I'd say every driver from here onwards has a great case to be the best qualifier of 2023. For Tom, that's because if you rank qualifying performances like Olympic medals, looking at firsts, then seconds, and so forth, he comes out on top. Number 4. Ricky Taylor. Ricky was the regular qualifier aboard the 10 car this year, having qualifying duty 5 times and never qualifying outside of the top 5. Although he never took pole, his consistent displays netted him 3rd on the super time ranking, and all those qualifying points proved critical to WTR Andretti's ultimately unsuccessful title challenge. Number 3. Matt Campbell. Campbell is the top Porsche driver on this list, having taken 2 poles and a further front row start amongst his 4 qualifying runs. He ended the year 4th in both average position and time, but as the only driver with 3 times less than 0.1% off pole, his 7th at Sebring, the lap letting him down here. Number 2. Filipe Albuquerque. Albuquerque only qualified twice this season, but his Long Beach pole lap was arguably the lap of the year. The percentage gap between him and second place Tom Blomqvist was greater than the spread of the entire grid at Daytona. In fact, it's worth noting that no one in the top 6 on super time went up against Albuquerque that day. Such was the amount he increased everyone else's percentage by. Number 1. Louis Delatraz. And with 1 pole in his 1 qualifying session, it's Delatraz who tops the ranking for 2023. And what a pole lap it was, giving WTR Andretti the championship lead back in challenging conditions at Petit Le Mans. It'll be great to see how he fares in 2024, when he hopefully qualifies more often now he's been promoted to a full-time drive as the team expands to 2 cars. Which driver impressed you the most in GTP qualifying in 2023? And would you like to see a similar countdown for WEC Hypercar, or any of the other IMSA classes? Please let me know in the comments below. And whilst you're down there, why not press that like button and subscribe to the channel? It really helps me out.